Out of the war in Gaza. Israeli forces say they have started a new extensive ground operation there. It comes days after the last American hostage was freed. And this morning we're hearing from one of Edan Alexander's parents. That's first on GMA. Matt Gutman has the story. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. When I first interviewed Edan Alexander's mother about 6 months ago, she described the hug she would give her son. Well, when we spoke yesterday, she told me the real thing was even sweeter than she imagined. And that, as we learned this morning, that Israel's prime minister says they'll allow a basic amount of food into Gaza for the first time in 3 months to try to avert a famine. This morning, IDF tanks and jets pounding Gaza in what the IDF is calling one of the most expansive assaults in Gaza yet. At least 160 Palestinians killed and hundreds wounded in those strikes in Gaza over the weekend. But now the Israeli government says it's working on another ceasefire and hostage deal. The most recent hostage released, Edan Alexander, the last living American held by Hamas, freed last week in a deal brokered by the U.S. And in her first interview since the release, the 21-year-old's mother describing the hug she dreamt about for nearly 600 nights.
I was screaming and running till I bumped into him.
A hug heard round the world, that laughter turning to tears.
He was so weak that he almost fell because he was also so excited, but he was so exhausted. I started crying like crazy because that was the moment, you know. That's it. I got it. My son is here. He's in my arms.
Edan's father describing the conditions he was held in. Edan was kept in a cage and he was beaten. I guess that was in the beginning. Can you tell me what that was about?
Yeah, at the beginning, it was they were held in a facility. I wouldn't call it a cage. It's a very dark and narrow room with the rebars. Actually, you can call it a cage if you think about it.
Edan is still hospitalized, facing a long recovery. The world found out about the deal on May 11th, Mother's Day, news the Alexanders nearly missed. So out of the blue, Steve Witkoff rings you on the phone and says you better turn on the TV because your son's about to be released and they're going to announce this thing.
Actually, it was not out of the blue. I had 8 missed calls from Steve Witkoff. My phone was on the silent and I was working with a blower outside and it was too noisy, and I saw those 8 missed calls and called them back immediately. And then he told me, Adi, listen to me, put your wife on the phone now.
Yes.
Okay, I brought Yael on the phone and he told us in 10 minutes you will be hearing the good news.
There are 58 hostages being held in Gaza right now, but it's believed that only 20 of them or so are still alive. We understand that the Israeli government is now under increasing pressure to ease that horrific hunger in Gaza, and as President Trump has openly said, people are starving. Guys.
Yeah, something has to be done. No doubt about that, Matt.